In the cold dark place between stars where sunlight never comes and even machines whisper to themselves like ghosts hiding from forgotten war signals. A quiet alien cargo pilot named Urkala sits alone inside her rusted transport ship, engines humming like tired heartbeat of old animal. Windows showing nothing but black space full of broken rocks and dead metal drifting like graveyard of forgotten battles, and she travels through this dead zone because trade routes avoid it, because no one sane travels here, because there are no stars here, only dust and shadows floating together like memory of war trying to breathe again. And Urkala has always liked places where others feel fear, because silence reminds her of mother's voice when she died, voice soft like air leaving tired lungs, whisper telling her not to be afraid of dark, because dark hides pain from eyes of strangers, and now she sits watching sensors show something strange, a small spinning object among asteroid ruins, like tiny, frozen seed lost in cosmic field, and she frowns because nothing here should move, nothing here should breathe, nothing here should call for help. Yet her scanner beeps again, slow, irregular pulse like broken heart still trying to beat, and Urkala adjusts controls, ship drifting closer through floating stones, engines whispering low, lights off, because bright light in dead zone feels like shouting inside tomb, and as she approaches, object rotates again, shape clearer now. A ruined human life. Pod, metal cracked like shell broken open by claws of dark, surfaces burned by plasma, glass shattered, emergency beacon weak like child crying in storm, and Urkala's breath stops in throat because everyone in Galaxy knows humans are dangerous, unpredictable, full of fire and blood and rage in bones, and bring war wherever they go. Every academy teaches same rule. Never touch abandoned human craft, never open pod, report location and leave because humans track everything like wolves smell blood. In darkness, and if you open pod, Earth finds you, and when Earth finds you, consequences never small because humans move like storm without sound, and Urkala remembers instructor's voice repeating law. If human pod alone, leave it. If human body inside, run. But when she aligns ship closer, camera shows something inside pod, not dead body floating like other wrecks, but a human soldier lying half frozen. Skin pale blue under frost lines on neck, mouth half open, blood dried like black paint under jaw, eyes closed, but chest moving tiny like weak bird breathing its last, and Urkala sees lips trembling, whispering sound so soft scanner almost misses it, but audio picks one broken word, sound punched into vacuum by pain. Mom? And Urkala's heart breaks open like old wound she never healed, because her mother died in same way, alone in small mining shuttle hit by debris, life fading while Urkala's small voice begged her not to sleep, not to leave, and she hears that whisper from human soldier and she sees her mother lying there. Same breath fading, same whisper lost in cold, and without thinking, without law, without fear logic, she presses controls and locks pod with magnetic arms, dragging it inside cargo bay. Alarms flashing red text violation, warning blinking like angry eye from council law, interference with human asset, high risk. But she ignores, hands trembling, moving fast through narrow corridor with tools, oxygen tank, emergency heater. Her boots echo loud in empty ship, heart pounding fear inside ribs like drum asking, why? Mind saying stop, but her soul saying, save him, because mercy sometimes stronger than training. And when she opens pod hatch, cold air explodes out like ghost. Screaming, frost smoke pouring into bay, her skin burning like needles in wind. But inside pod she sees human soldier curled like child, body stiff, armor cracked, name tag scratched but readable. Sergeant Daniel Reyes, rank symbol half melted, chest armor showing marks of claws or shrapnel. She doesn't know, she doesn't care. She just pulls him out with shaking hands, body heavy like stone soaked in ice, and when she lifts him, his head drops on her shoulder, breath touches her neck faint like dead wind moving leaves, and she whispers without thinking, you're safe. Even though she knows nothing safe about this. Not him, not her, not future waiting outside ship walls. Yet words come like prayer for ghosts, because when mother died, no one whispered those words back, silence swallowed everything. So she gives what she never received, you're safe. She drags him to medical bed, hands shaking so much she drops tools twice, tries stabilizing oxygen mask. Gives her own blood through transfusion because his blood type unknown, but old guides say human blood compatible with her species temporarily if used with cold filter. She stitches neck wound careful, thread shaking, vision blurry because tears returning from years ago, and she hides him from ship scanners, disabling broadcast, turning off external ping, wrapping him in heated blanket, and she does not know humans track everything from moment pod opens. They have invisible security layer, quantum link built inside emergency capsule, so when hatch opened, Earth Defense Network saw signal like flare over ocean, Earth systems woke like sleeping titan, cold and fast, steel minds calculating probability of capture, probability of torture, probability of rescue window, and when probability high enough, system activates protocol Earth never wanted to use, never wanted to see again after. Last war, protocol reclaim. And in deep bunkers under oceans, alarms silent but deadly come alive, screens fill with red charts, warships positioned like shadows along dark side of moon turn engines on without sound, because Terran war fleet moves like ghost army. No bright fuel flames, only cold drive burning vacuum itself, hundreds of warships changing course like flock of metal-killing birds, hyperspace gates opening without light, only distortion around edges like air twisting before. Lightning, and Earth thinks alien woman captured soldier because they see her pulling him from pod into unknown ship, hiding him from sensors, blood transfusion looks like torture from broken digital view, and humans never trust half picture. They saw billions die in past because they trusted wrong timing once, so now they trust no one except proof delivered by hands, so Earth enters warpath not because they want blood, but because history burned them enough to give one rule. If you save a human, you are under Earth's protection. If you harm a human, you are under Earth's war. No third option in Terran code. No gray area, no slow answer, and while Rakala wipes blood from his lips, trying to stabilize heartbeat with gentle touch, she sees nothing of war coming. She only sees one soldier breathing weak, whispers, "Mom." And she whispers back, "I know." Like she knows pain of losing mother, and she places hand on his forehead, thinking of child she once was, waiting alone, wanting someone to come, so she becomes that someone. Now, but she doesn't see Earth waking like beast under quiet ocean. Doesn't see Titan Forge facility unlocking under moon crust. Giant ring engines glowing red like eyes opening slowly. Ready to build weapons from matter itself. Ready to bring entire worlds to knees if soldier dies screaming. But she only hears slow beep of monitor, heartbeat rising slightly after warmth, and tears fall on metal floor quietly. She wipes them fast, angry at own weakness, angry at rules forcing her to leave people to die, angry at world teaching fear instead of kindness. And she holds soldier's hand, cold fingers stiff, her voice shaking. "Why are you alone here?" But he cannot answer, unconscious. Mind drifting in dark dream where humans fall into holes of war and never return, and she stares at his face, strange shape, strong jaw, eyelashes frozen with tiny crystals, lips cracked, and she wonders what his mother looked like, wondered if mother waiting on Earth, waiting like she waited years ago, and pain in her chest sharp like memory biting same scar again, and above her spaceship, miles away in deep space black, massive shadow emerges from nothing, like night given metal shape. Fleet of Terran warships exiting dark. Jump, not through gate, but through silent slip that Terrans learned from Death of Stars. Small rip on space surface opening like wound. Ships sliding through. No sound, no fire, only silent nightmare moving slow but unstoppable, and flagship lights flicker inside. Admiral Holt walking through bridge like storm hidden in calm skin. Eyes hard like diamond carved by war. Watching data screens showing rescue footage with corrupted angle, showing alien hands pulling soldier, feeding him blood with strange tools, hiding him from scanners, and she misreads kindness as enemy capture, her heart fast, memory pain old like century. No more humans dying alone. She whispers order like prayer and threat together, and command transmits through fleet like lightning, engines burn again, targets locked. Coordinates of Rakala's small cargo ship, and on Earth, dark side of moon glows red, words etched on steel fortress wall pulsing with code, Titan Forge online. Facility Earth swore never to use. Again after First War because Titan Forge not weapon factory, Titan Forge builds consequences, builds message stronger than diplomacy. Message that if you harm human, you erase future of your people, and Rakala sees none of this, only sees one soldier breathing weak and small light in his eyes flicker like candle waking again. And she suddenly panics when scanner shows small burst of heat on human chest, meaning mind waking from near coma, and she leans near, whispering to him, "Stay calm. You're safe?" and Daniel Reyes wakes suddenly like drowning man pulled from water, lungs gasping hard, eyes wide full panic and fear like animal hunted by darkness, hand gripping her arm like steel clamp, whispering with broken voice full of terror, Why did you help me? Now Earth will kill everything for you? Voice shaking, breath fast, eyes wet with desperation not for himself but for her. And Rakala confused like child trying to understand thunder scream for first time. Heart freezing like cold injected into bones, she tries to calm him. You're safe, I saved you. But he shakes head violently. No, you doomed yourself. They think you took me. They will go to war for me. His words like prophecy written in blood and fear, echo shaking her soul because she realizes for first time mercy has price painted red, and she looks at window and space outside looks different, stars bending like something huge coming, and she runs to cockpit dragging human on stretcher, presses sensor buttons, screen shows impossible image. Fleet emerging from dark space like ghost army, shapes huge, black metal reflecting no light, weapons quiet but primed, moving formation like hunting wolves circling helpless deer, and she stares silent disbelief, cold rising in her. Bones like death climbing spine, because saving one man has woken world she never understood, world built on vow stronger than any law she learned, vow Earth made when children died alone in space long ago. Never again, and Rakala shakes, hands gripping console, soldier breathing hard behind her, repeating with broken desperate voice. You don't know what Earth is when someone saves us. And screen shows more ships coming hundreds, moving silent like shadow covering star. And she whispers, shaking, What have I done? And fade out like universe holding breath before fire. Rakala could feel her pulse beating inside ears like drums from forgotten war as the massive shadow of Terran fleet expanded across her window. Ships arranged in perfect formation like iron teeth closing around her tiny ship, every line straight, every engine cold and silent, and she did not understand why silence felt more terrifying than sound. Why war coming without screaming made blood freeze harder. Then explosion, Daniel behind her breathing fast like lungs on fire, voice broken from fear older than his wounds, whispering words like warning carved in bone. They think you hurt me. They think you took me? But Rakala could only stare at fleet that looked like nightmare given shape, hundreds of black warships sliding through space like ghosts made from metal and hate. Lights off, systems dark, like they didn't need to show the galaxy their power because their silence already screamed louder than any weapon, and her hands shook on controls, her mind repeating law she ignored. Never touch human pod. Never open, never. Her throat closing tight because she saved life from death, but saving turned into doom, and Daniel tried to pull himself up, body shaking from cold, blood still wet under neck bandage, eyes wide with guilt. Listen to me. Earth doesn't wait. Earth doesn't talk when someone is in danger. Our command is simple. We come back with fire. His voice cracked like bone breaking, and Rakala flinched because she saw truth in his eyes, truth of someone raised in world where rescue is war language, where love delivered through weapon, where protection has sharp edge, and she whispered small, broken, I wanted to help. Like apology to stars, apology to ghosts of her mother, apology to herself for being fool who believed mercy simple. But Daniel grabbed her wrist, grip weak but desperate like man trying to stop comet with hands. You did help. That's why they will protect you, but they don't know you helped. Everything inside her twisted dark when he said that because she realized fleet coming not to kill her, but to kill everything between them and him, to crush anyone that separates soldier from Earth, to crush until no question remains, only dust, and Daniel looked at window with horror like man looking at burning childhood. Home. Tell them you saved me. Send message, anything. But Rakala already tried, communication channels locked by human encryption, her ship now shadow in Terran network caught like insect in giant web, her voice no longer her own, system displaying message in cold Terran letters, access denied. Priority rescue in progress, and she shook head because she never saw technology override communications without permission, and Daniel stared at console screen, tears forming from helpless rage. They think I'm prisoner. They think you're torturing me. His voice small like child begging world to stop repeating same story again. Breath shaking with guilt so heavy it bent his back. And outside her window, one ship moved forward, gigantic hull covered with white markings like scars from wars no one documented, bottom side opening slowly like ancient mouth of beast waking, and Rakala's mind filled with terror because she never saw human worship in person. Only stories, stories sang. Terran ships built from ruins of planets, built from anger of dead children, built from metal pulled from collapsed suns. Stories told to scare cadets so they follow law, so they don't touch human wrecks, and she realized stories were not metaphor, because ships looked like graves forged into weapons, dead worlds shaped into sword, and she couldn't breathe, everything closing around throat, room spinning, and Daniel pulled himself closer whispering, "This is the Reclaim Fleet. The ones who bring our people home. They do anything." His voice not proud, voice filled with sorrow like someone describing curse wearing uniform of love, and Rakala whispered shaking, "They will kill me." Daniel shook head. "No. They will kill anyone between me and Earth. They don't care who dies. Not because they are cruel. Because they lost too many alone out here." They swore oath. His hand squeezed her arm weak but intense, like last piece of strength he had. "No human left to die in foreign hands. We return with fire." The oath came out like blood memory, like chant he learned as child, not military rule, but prayer soldiers share in dark corners before battle, and Rakala felt ice crawl up her spine, understanding meaning of oath deeper than fear. Humans don't love peace because they gentle, they love peace. Because they buried children in war, buried mothers in frozen metal, buried fathers in ships no one recovered, and that grief turned into promise sharper than any weapon. And now that promise heading toward her, screaming silently through void, answering whisper Mom. With fleet full of rage and love mixed into one unstoppable direction, and she realized she saved one life at cost of thousands possibly dying, and tears fell because she didn't want war born from kindness, didn't want armies moving because of mistake, and she looked at Daniel's trembling face, blood under eyes from stress, and whispered desperate, tell them I saved you, call them." But Daniel shook head slow, pain in movement. "I can't. They blocked my code. They think the broadcast is fake. They think I'm forced to speak." His breath weak like candle. Earth trusts proof. They don't trust hope. And while he talked, screens flashed incoming data, Terran AI sending something across galaxy like roar made from steel. Old footage of humans dying in alien prisons, old screams of captured soldiers broadcast in fragmented signals, and Rakala froze seeing images of humans begging for mercy while alien captors laughed. And she understood why Earth turned gentle hands into fists of metal, because Galaxy showed them cruelty, not kindness, so they learned kindness delivered by force, learned peace carried by fire, and she looked away ashamed of universe she lived in. Ashamed she never questioned stories told to her in academy halls, stories full of fear of humans, but hiding fear humans carried of Galaxy, and she suddenly saw human soldier not as monster from legend, but child of war like her mother, dying alone in cold darkness whispering last word not kill, not Earth, but Mom, and her soul cracked because simple word more powerful than whole fleets. And Daniel whispered through pain, "I didn't want this, I just wanted to go home." And Rakala sobbed silent because she understood home power stronger than law, stronger than war, stronger than silence, stronger than fear, and Earth coming not for revenge, but because soldier tried to go home and failed, and now whole planet answering failure with unstoppable force because they refused to accept ending like that, refused to accept anyone dying alone whispering mother name, and outside her window central flagship moved closer, its hull covered with strange stones fused into metal like relics of destroyed worlds melted inside armor, lights glowing red under surface like beating heart of star trapped in iron, and Rakala's mind shaking seeing something like Titan from Nightmare told by old miners in deep caves, voice whispering like wine through dark metal, Titan Forge. She remembered rumors, old war engineers speaking about factory under moon, building ships from gravity, not metal, using dead sun's energy to shape hulls, using pain of war as blueprint, forging ships that carry message stronger than any peace treaty. We remember. Daniel looked at ship through half-open eyes, tears falling because he wished Earth slow, wished they give Galaxy chance to understand kindness comes without cost. But he knew they wouldn't, not now, not so late, not when signal of pod opened came without context, and he whispered again weak, "You don't know what Earth is when someone risks themselves for us." They think you are hero or monster, no middle. Rakala whispered broken laugh like someone drowning. I'm not hero. I'm afraid. Daniel nodded with pain. Heroes are always afraid. That's why they save. His eyes closed again, body slipping toward unconsciousness, and Rakala screamed inside mind because she couldn't lose him now, couldn't let him die before message clears, before Earth understands truth, because if he dies in her ship, war moves from protection into destruction, and she imagined fleet burning worlds because they believed torture killed him, imagined funeral of soldier turning into funeral of worlds, and she cried like child lost in cave, sobbed soundless. Because space stole all noise, and fleet signaled final message across her window, words written in Terran standard, glowing like threat carved in stone. Reclaim or consequences, her ship shaking from wave of gravity burst as human flagship aligned guns not to destroy but to phase space around her ship, preparing warp net to rip her cargo open and pull Daniel out like blood extraction, and she saw war coming toward her like destiny made of iron. And she whispered to Daniel, voice soft like dying candle whispering goodbye. I saved you, now save me. Even though she didn't know how, didn't know if anyone can stop world machine moving, and Daniel heard faint, whispered with last energy left, voice ghost, breath shallow. Tell Earth, tell them my name. Tell them I spoke. Tell them I called you friend. But his voice broke, darkness pulled him unconscious again, leaving her alone with fleet, alone with guilt, alone with fear so heavy her knees shaking, alone with truth that kindness can start war same way hate does. And she looked at window where ghost army coming closer and whispered final, please, not again. Fade out like heartbeats slowing before scream. Rakala stood frozen in the cold blue light of cockpit while alarms flashed on screens like angry eyes, red warnings reflecting on her trembling hands, Daniel lying behind her breathing shallow, skin cold again, lips blue, chest rising and falling like waves fighting to stay alive in storm, and she felt world shrinking around her, ship walls closing like metal coffin ready to carry her into battle she never wanted. And something inside her whispered small voice from memory of childhood, her mother's voice telling her to run from darkness. But now darkness. Wearing human metal face, darkness shaped like fleet of warships moving silent like assassins in night sky, and she turned to Daniel, face full of fear and guilt, whispering like prayer for sleeping soul. Wake up, please wake up, you must tell them truth. But he remained trapped in unconscious pain, mind drifting away from sound of her voice, and she remembered how his eyes looked when he warned her, eyes full of fear not for himself but for her, for Galaxy, for everyone who would die, because she touched one dying man, and anger rose inside her chest, anger at universe that punishes kindness, anger at history that turned rescue into war signal, anger that she lives in world where saving life is crime against peace, and she wiped tears with shaking fingers trying to think, trying to remember every lesson about humans she learned in academy. But all lessons wrong now, all lessons twisted by fear of unknown. She saw human pain up close and nothing like stories told by council. Stories saying humans hungry for fight, humans want power, humans bring fire. But Daniel whispered different story before falling unconscious. Story about Earth going to war because they lost too many alone in empty sky. Story about oath built on graves not ambition. Oath forged in cry of child saying mom in dying breath, and suddenly her mind filled with image she saw earlier. His cracked lips whispering mother's name while dying in frozen metal. And she understood what drives fleet now. What drives Earth. Not hunger for domination. Not love of battle. But fear of silence around dying soldiers. Fear of never holding them in last moment. Fear of repeating history where humans begged Galaxy for help and Galaxy turned away. And she felt heavy sadness in chest, sadness drowning her like dark water swallowing light. And she whispered soft, I understand. You fight because no one came before, and truth hit her like gravity collapsing star inside heart. Earth doesn't trust anyone, because universe killed their trust first. So they move alone, they save alone. They protect with fire because soft words failed long ago. And when she looked at Daniel's shaking hands, she saw not soldier of war, but child raised by war, someone carrying trauma older than his bones. And she wondered how many like him died whispering meaningless hope to empty cold. Hoping someone like her exists, someone who will break rule and pull them from death, someone who will choose kindness over fear, and she realized Earth not coming to punish her, They coming to repay kindness they thought she never gave, repay rescue with protection, repay love with war, because for humans war is language of love when danger steals their people, and she whispered loud to herself like trying to convince stars. They will protect me. If they know I saved him. But fear stabbed throat because she didn't know how to tell them, didn't know how to bypass Terran encryption locking entire ship like cage made from code, her transmitter offline, her voice silenced by machine guarding Daniel, and she slammed hands on console screaming silent inside mind. Let me speak. I saved him. But nothing changed, network cold like stone ignoring her pain, ignoring truth, because protocol older than her words, older than her tears, protocol built from ashes of war, not from hope of strangers, and while she fought silent machine, on Earth Admiral Holt watched recordings again and again, seeing Rakala's hands stitching Daniel's wound, feeding blood, warming body, but footage corrupted at parts, showing her lifting him roughly because pod camera bouncing, showing her hiding him from scanners because she disabled ship signals. So Earth sees rescue as torture, sees healing as experiment, sees hiding as kidnapping, and Holt's heart heavy because she remembers screams of humans truly tortured, and footage looks same. So she trusts old pain over new hope, and she whispers to herself in command chamber, I will not lose another one. Voice full of broken history she never tells crew, because soldiers hide pain to lead others, and her order repeats across fleet. Like storm passing whisper between waves, reclaim at any cost. And Rakala's ship shows vibration again, gravity net forming around hull like invisible cage, light bending around edges like heat wave from sun, and she panics, trying manual override, trying emergency beacon, trying old distress codes, but encryption eats everything like dark mouth swallowing sound, and she falls to floor beside Daniel, gripping his collar, shaking him gently. Tell me why they fight like this, why they burn stars for you? And her tears fall on his cheek, mixing with dried blood, and Daniel's eyes flutter weak like bird wing trembling before last flight. Voice tiny, words broken but sharp like truth cut from old scar. Because someone saved us once, and no one believed them. They died for us. We promised we would never leave anyone again. His breath burns like smoke leaving broken furnace. We don't fight to win, we fight to bring each other home. And Rakala froze because those words, destroyed world she grew up in, world where humans painted as monsters, now monster speaking like child mourning hero who died saving them, and she whispered again, Who saved you? And Daniel forced smile, weak and crooked, Alien, long ago. They helped our people escape war, and died for it, council buried truth, but we remember. And his voice faded like candle dying in wind, leaving her alone with truth burning like fire in heart. Earth fights because Alien once saved them first. Earth remembers debt galaxy forgot. Earth goes to war not for power but to return favor of kindness no one else valued. And Daniel's story shook her soul because she never heard Council mention alien hero in history of war. Council always said humans killed without mercy. But here dying humans saying opposite. And she realized Council lied to everyone. Turned savior into enemy to control fear, control politics, build power by turning humans into myth of danger. While hiding fact humans learned kindness from alien sacrifice. And that kindness now coming back like tidal wave, heavy, unstoppable, roaring through space to repay debt galaxy erased. And she whispered, shaking voice full of rage and love mixed, You learned love from someone who died alone. And now you will kill to protect strangers like me. And her body shook because she never thought love can become fire this big. Never thought heart of one dead alien could change whole civilization into storm of protection. And she held Daniel's hand, fingers cold but moving, tears falling on his skin like small warm rain from strange world meeting another strange world. And she whispered, I will save you, and I will stop them. Even though she didn't know how to stop fleet bigger than moon, fleet forged in grief, fleet commanded by oath older than her bloodline, but she knew correct thing never easy, correct thing always painful, correct thing always fought alone before others join. And she stood up shaking like leaf in storm, body weak, knees trembling, fear walking through veins like poison, but heart moving like heavy drum in chest giving courage moment by moment. And she activated old emergency channel not meant for military, channel meant for funerals, meant for lost ships sending last words before death. Channel open to Everyone listening but ignored because no one uses it alive. And she broadcast raw voice full of truth and tears. I saved your soldier. Please stop. Please listen. No encryption, no protection, just naked truth thrown into void like message in bottle, trusting sea to understand, trusting stars to carry, trusting humanity to hear love in voice of stranger who broke rule to save their son, and fleet froze for second, small second where fate balanced like knife on thread, because funeral channel never used by enemy, funeral channel screams honesty or death, and someone in fleet heard transmission, recognized tone of grief, not threat, and Admiral Holt leaned close to audio, hearing alien woman sob words. He called for his mother, I could not leave him, and Holt froze, chest twisting, because she heard same cry from soldiers dying in pods 70 years ago, words taken by vacuum, and she whispered soft to herself. She saved him because of mother? Tears gathering despite iron heart, and memory moved like lightning through her, memory of saving child from wreck once, child whispering thanks with blood on lips, and Holt changed expression from steel to sorrow, and she whispered to calm, open channel. While Rakala, shaking, fingers bleeding from gripping console too hard, whispering again and again. I saved him, hoping someone listens, someone human enough to feel same pain, and fade out like stars blinking between war and hope in the silent space between her last trembling words and the human fleet's answer. Rakala felt time stretch like thin wire ready to snap, every second sharp against her skin, every breath heavy like she was breathing metal instead of air. Daniel lying behind her half-conscious, whispering fragments of memories from battlefield that sounded like prayers to ghosts, words like don't leave me here, echoing in her mind like claws scratching walls of heart, and she kept staring at audio channel waiting for reply, waiting for war to turn into voice, waiting for someone human enough to hear her tears, but only static came first, whispering like distant scream underwater, making fear coil tighter around her ribs. But then Admiral Holt's voice finally entered channel soft like steel melting, quiet but heavy, slow like someone walking through old wounds. We hear you. 3 words shifting stars inside Rakala's chest, heartbeat slamming like hammer on bone, and she collapsed on knees from shock because she never believed humans would calm after anger. But Holt's voice not calm exactly. It sounded like storm forced to whisper, like fire closing eyes to not burn child, and Holt continued, tell me, why did you help him? Question carried weight of whole planet asking reason for breaking law, reason for risking everything, reason alien stranger chose. Empathy when galaxy teaches fear, and Rakala's voice broke into microphone. Words coming like broken glass but honest like death. He called for his mother, I know that pain. I could not leave him to die alone. Silence followed her confession like universe holding breath, Daniel breathing weak behind her. His cold hand on floor stiff like stone but fingers twitching like heart refusing to stop beating for sake of stranger. And Holt whispered back something unexpected, something soft like sorrow hiding under armor. Stay where you are. Do not move. I will come to you. Voice full of decision, full of responsibility, full of oath bigger than war itself, but before Rakala could answer, before hope could grow into sunlight inside dark room, new signal hit her ship, sharp, loud, angry, like nails dragged across steel mind. Council broadcast, overriding channel with authority she never asked for, screen flashing symbol of Council High Command, voice echoing through metal walls like sharp blade cutting flesh. Alien pilot Rakala, you are ordered to surrender the human prisoner immediately. Your actions violate interstellar law. You will be escorted to trial for kidnapping human soldier. Words cold like death sentence disguised as official tone, and Rakala stared at message with disbelief cracking her brain, because truth turned upside like corpse in river, council calling mercy kidnapping, calling rescue crime, calling bleeding hands holding dying man act of war, and she screamed inside mind, they want to take him from me. They will kill him for politics, panic clawed throat because council known for turning humans into samples, experiments, proof of danger to control population fear. She remembered old rumors about human prisoners never returned, never shown, just erased into past. And now council wants Daniel because his existence exposes truth council buried. Truth that humans once saved by alien hero, truth that council erased kindness from memory to keep galaxy under political control. And Rakala realized Council more afraid of truth than of Terran fleet, more afraid of story than guns, so they must take Daniel to kill narrative, kill proof, kill witness. And she felt fury rising like volcano under ribs, heat burning tears dry, and she shouted at screen like child fighting storm. I saved him! He is not prisoner. But message cold, repeating order like machine built to crush empathy. Hand over human asset or be neutralized. And when word neutralized appeared on screen, she trembled because she saw her own death written like simple word between legal sentences, as if life nothing more than bullet point in council document. And her anger turned sharp, turning fear into blade inside heart, because she understood council wants her dead for kindness. And that truth more horrifying than human fleet outside. Because Earth's rage born from love, council's threat born from fear of losing power. And she looked at Daniel breathing like ghost fading, told him with shaking voice, Council coming, to take you, to hide truth. And Daniel's eyes opened slow like curtain lifting heavy darkness, pupils shaking like soldier hearing bomb far away in memory, weak voice rasped pain against air. Don't let them. They will kill story. They will use my body to start war on their terms. Not ours. His breath harsh, lungs broken from cold, but mind still strong like steel bent but not snapped, and he coughed blood, each drop red like small pieces of star dying. And Rakala held his head, tears running down arms. I won't let them. Voice shaking like rope in wind, and Daniel whispered something like nightmare but truth. Council always feared peace between us, because fear gives them power, kindness kills fear. And Rakala's mind lit with clarity like dawn arriving inside battlefield. Understanding council. Wants war narrative, wants species to fear humans forever, because fear keeps council useful, fear feeds their throne, fear defines their authority, and one alien saving human kills whole fear empire in one moment of mercy. So they must erase act, erase Rakala, erase Daniel, erase story before it spreads, erase chance of peace born from compassion. Because peace means council irrelevant, peace means truth free, and she hissed breath through teeth, anger boiling. They want war, not safety. And Daniel nodded weak. Always, war makes them leaders, peace makes them small. His voice fading like candle out of wax, and outside ship council ships appeared like swarm of insects made of metal, small but fast, coming from shadows with weapons unlocked, engines loud unlike Terran's silent approach, council ships flashing red like hunger, guns pointed not at human fleet but at small cargo ship holding truth, holding kindness, holding reason galaxy might change. And Rakalia's chest tightened like iron band crushing heart, because she trapped between two war machines, one made of pain and protection, one made of fear and control, and she alone, cargo pilot with no guns, no shields, only dying soldier whispering warnings, and she whispered to herself like prayer to stars she never believed. How can one kindness cause war from both sides? As if universe cruel joke, kindness starting fire, love starting battle, truth starting hunt, and raw fear crawling through bones like cold infection. Spreading to mind, but before council could lock tractor beam, Terran fleet reacted like predator seeing threat at child, dark warship turned slightly, gravity wave pushed space like angry wind, council drones thrown back like leaves in storm, no shots fired, no explosion, just silent force denying council approach, silent message loud. He is ours. Whole battlefield frozen, council screaming commands, humans moving calm like wolves surrounding lamb. No one brave enough to shoot first because shot means war end all sides, or fire burn everyone. And Rakala understood she must choose between two nightmares, between council calling her criminal for mercy, and Earth calling her hero for same act, between fear eating truth and truth waking fire, between giving Daniel to those who hide history and giving him to those who burn universe to save history. And she felt weight crushing her, crushing bone, crushing soul, because choice not simple. Choice means death of many or life of one. Choice means story or silence. Choice means future shaped by fear or future shaped by love paid with blood. And she whispered to Daniel like question to dying star, what do I do? And his eyes opened tiny like window into soul of war child, breath shaking like short candle flame fighting wind. Go to Earth. Let them see your kindness. Let galaxy see truth. He coughed hard, blood on lips, voice pain heavy. Council will kill me and say you tortured me. Earth will kill Council and say they rescued me. He breathed like broken machine. Only your voice stops everything. Words cut her deeper than any ship gun, because truth so heavy it could break mind. Only cargo pilot with shaking hands and broken heart can stop war between worlds because she carried compassion, simple, untrained, real, not political, not strategic, and she cried because she didn't want power of universe on her shoulders. She wanted normal life. She wanted mother alive. She wanted quiet ship in silent dead zone, but now her ship center of galaxy storm built from ancient betrayal and new love, and she made decision heavy like star collapse. I go to Earth. Whisper spreading inside cockpit like vow, and Council sensors caught her ship turning away. Council screamed through broadcast, Rakala, you are ordered to stop. But she pressed engines forward, ship shaking from push, engines crying like beast forced to run faster than bones allow. Metal groaning under gravity, and Council fired warning shot across hull, beams slicing darkness like white scar in night. Small explosion across side panels, sparks flying like dying stars hitting ground. Alarms screaming through cockpit like wild animal in cage. Daniel thrown aside. Rakala grabbed him mid-fall, holding his body against hers, and she whispered, screaming at Council message. I save him again even now. But voice swallowed by explosion shock, Council shots growing closer. Each blast shaking ship, like storm tearing wings from bird. But Terran fleet moved like shadow shield, blocking next volley with thin blue wall of gravity field. Quiet and deadly, Admiral Holt voice came again through channel, urgency burning like flame behind controlled tone. Rakala, stay on course. We will cover you. Rakala collapsed into seat shaking from relief mixed with terror, because she now under protection of army from hell built by love, hunted by empire built by fear, and she whispered to Daniel, I am going to Earth for you, for truth. And his lips formed silent word, maybe mom, maybe home, maybe thank you. She didn't know because sound lost in alarms and explosions around them, but she held his cold hand against chest, heart beating against his fingers, and ship flew into growing war, between past lies and future truth. Alone but protected by ghost army coming from stars because one woman refused to leave one dying man alone in deep black of universe, and fade out like darkness swallowing burning metal. Rakala's small transport tore through empty dark like wounded animal running through forest full of hunters. Hull screaming under pressure from engines pushed beyond normal limit. Metal shaking like bones ready to snap. Sparks flying from panel cracks after Council's last shots. Daniel lying on medical pad tied with straps so he doesn't fall again, his breath thin like thread pulled too tight. Whispering sounds like ghost voice from end of world, repeating half words like broken prayer. Don't leave, please. And his voice stabbed her heart with memories of her mother dying same way, alone, whispering same tone of fading love into cold void, and inside cockpit with alarms flashing like angry stars. Rakala saw Earth fleet moving ahead like wall of silent metal, black shapes blocking Council ships like shadows protecting child from fire, Terran warships taking positions around her small vessel, not touching her, not speaking big speeches, only their presence loud enough to silence Council from firing next shot because even Council captains afraid to hit human flagship by mistake. One mistake means end of star systems, Earth known in whispers like dark myth, if we lose one of ours, we erase 10 of yours, and Rakala could feel fear moving like disease through comm channels, Council officers screaming orders to retreat, others shouting to continue chase, confusion spilling across signals like flood drowning logic. Political power fighting raw terror of Terran presence. Half Council wanting war, half wanting to disappear into darkness to survive. And Admiral Holt's voice cut through chaos like knife through silk, calm tone heavy like planet weight. Council ships, withdraw your weapons. The pilot is under Terran protection. Words slow, each one landing like hammer against Council pride, because hearing alien pilot declared under Terran protection means everything in political language, means war if touched, means shield forged from love and hate both, means Council no longer in control of narrative, and Council replied cold voice full of fake authority covering fear. You are trespassing in Council space. Holt answered without raising tone, voice like storm hidden behind glass. Space belongs to no one when a life is bleeding. And those words hung in void like law older than galaxies. Law built not by military, not by politics, but by mothers who waited for soldiers that never came home. Law of love turned into steel. Rakala felt tears rise again hearing human leaders speak like that. Not threat, not anger, but truth like wound still fresh in heart. And council tried again, desperation leaking into pride. Hand over human asset. We will handle the incident. Holt replied sharp like broken star hitting stone. The last time you handled one of ours, he returned without eyes. Silence hit calms like death, council voices cut mid-sentence, fear swallowing arrogance like dark ocean eating ship. Rakala didn't understand reference fully, but image in words enough to freeze blood. She realized humans not protecting soldier because he's soldier, they protecting because they know what council does when truth dangerous. And she whispered soft to herself, they no pain we hide. And Daniel coughed blood onto sheet, body shaking, whispering don't let them. His hand reaching in air trying to grab something invisible. Maybe memory of mother's fingers, maybe memory of last time he was safe, and Rakala held his hand, pressing it against her chest like trying to share heartbeat for both, whispering, I will not let them take you, no matter what. Even though fear inside her bones heavy like mountain pressing ribs until breath thin. But her voice steady, eyes sharp, because kindness once chosen becomes war inside gentle souls, and she now fight her without weapon. War on behalf of dying man who never asked her to bleed for him but now needs her to stand when he cannot move, and Admiral Holt watched life feed through sensors. Reading Rakala's hand over Daniel's shaking fingers, watching her body shield him from stress waves shaking ship, and Holt saw something Galaxy never gave humans, one alien protecting human from her own government. Even when death waiting outside window, and Holt felt heavy empathy break stone around heart. Memory of another alien saving her grandmother in old war rising like ghost from past. Story told by mother before sleeping. Story council erased. Story Holt never forgot. An alien saved us first. And she whispered to herself like promise to dead hero. Not again. I will not watch another savior die alone. And she turned to her officers, order coming like heartbreak turned into steel. Signal council. Stand down or be removed. Bridge officers stiff, some scared, some angry, but all loyal, all understanding pain in Admiral's voice deeper than command, and message sent in cold packet to council ship. Stand down or be removed meaning humans offered peace once more, final time, before war becomes gravity, unstoppable. No mercy left after first strike. And Rakala didn't hear political moves, she only heard Daniel's breath slowing, heartbeat weak on scanner dropping numbers like countdown to death, and she screamed inside mind, no, no, no. Grabbing medical pack, injecting stabilizer into his neck, tears falling on his face like rain kissing dying flower, but stabilizer weak now against internal bleed from cold exposure and shrapnel in rib. She put pressure on wound, hands red, whispering, stay. I need you alive. You are only proof? But Daniel's eyelids flutter, his voice ghost air, proof? Is you? Meaning she is enough to show truth. She is proof of kindness without expecting return. And Rakala broke into sob because she wanted him alive not for proof, but for him, for his whisper, for his mother never knowing last word, for her own mother never hearing her last word, and she cried messy, chest shaking, nose running, not elegant, not heroic, but real like pain stripping pride from heart, and she hugged his head against chest like mother hugging dying child, whispering please, please. Again and again like begging stars, begging gods she never believed, begging silence to give him one more breath, and bridge of human flagship saw her sob on floor holding bleeding soldier, and even metal faces of Terran soldiers cracked inside, eyes wet, atmosphere heavy like funeral hymn playing in war room, because everyone saw symbol and scene. Alien and human crying together, truth of war broken into small room on small ship, truth of peace born from single act of mercy, and Holt ordered external lights on ship to bright output like dawn inside darkness. And Rakala looked up through tears, cockpit flooded in soft white glow like morning sun touching frozen valley, light reflecting on Daniel's cracked lips, making them shine like living again, and Holt spoke on channel gently like mother tucking child into blanket. Rakala, I need you to speak to me. I need your voice clear. And Rakala sobbed breath, wiping face with shaking hand. I saved him. Not for politics, not for war, he called for mother, and I remembered my mother. I remembered her dying alone. I cannot do that to anyone. Even human. Voice broken, raw, ripping soul open for strangers, and Holt answered like prayer answered itself. And because you did that, Earth will protect you until we die. Promise full of rage and love, promise like armor made from stars wrapping around small ship, and Council interrupted again, voice louder, hiding panic with fake power. This is violation of sovereignty. Earth is committing act of war. Holt replied without raising breath, words cutting deeper than missiles. War is letting him die. Calm silent for a second that felt like world ending, and then Council leader voice exploded angry, desperate. Return the human or we will open fire on all Terran ships. Threat empty like broken blade because everyone knows Council ships not built to fight Terran fleet shaped by Titan forge and grief, but threat still heavy because pride kills faster than guns. And Holt leaned forward into Mike. Voice full death and promise. Fire, and you write your own extinction. But tone not threat for glory. Tone like mother protecting child from knife. Willing to kill for love, not ego. And Rakala heart hurt hearing humanity crush galaxy for one wounded man. Pain beautiful and terrifying in same breath. And she looked at Daniel's face, blood dried like river of pain on cheek, and whispered, "They will save you, I will get you to them." And behind her, space changed again, not explosion, not weapons, but arrival of something bigger than fleet itself. A single Terran capital dreadnought sliding from dark faster than light reflections, size like black mountain floating weightless, hull carved with names of soldiers who died alone in past wars, names glowing faint like ghost stars in metal sky, ship so big it looked like wall built against God's wind, engines silent, power unimaginable, front cannons like, eyes staring at Council fleet with judgment older than galaxy politics, and Rakala eyes widened in fear and awe mixed like acid-burning beauty into memory. Daniel weak voice whispered barely, "Titan, flag, ship?" Words shake Rakala deeper because she knows this ship carries gravity of millions' dreams and nightmares, ship that represents promise humans made in blood. No one dies alone again, even if galaxy burns, and she held Daniel tighter because she knew now she not running from war. She, flying into heart of it, but not as victim, as reason war stops, as chance to rewrite fear narrative, as chance to show Council and Earth truth of kindness across species. And she whispered to Daniel like vow, "I will not let you die before world sees this." And she pressed throttle under human formation, her ship like drop of water under huge ocean wave, and Council ships hovered at distance, scared of insane action happening in front of them. Alien pilot choosing human side against her own. Government choosing love over tribe law, choosing truth over fear, and silence deep in calms because all sides watching one small ship carry weight heavier than stars, and fade out like darkness swallowing sound before next moment decides future. Rakala's small ship slid under the shadow of the Terran dreadnought like insect resting under mountain of iron, engines gasping for air like dying lungs, smoke filling cockpit, alarms crying in chorus like metal screaming pain, Daniel's heartbeat on, screen dropping number by number like countdown to death written by stars, and she reached over shaking, pressing her forehead to his, whispering into his hair like prayer whispered into wind. "We are here, hold on please." Her tears falling on his cheek mixing with dried blood like two worlds merging in red river, an outside window docking tunnel opened like giant throats swallowing her vessel whole, claws made from magnetic metal gripping hull, pulling her in gentle but firm, like mother. Arms closing around child lost in war, lights flickering white like slow heartbeat of huge creature, shadows of Terran soldiers moving behind transparent panel, armor black like night sky, helmets reflecting her terrified face. All guns lowered not for peace but respect, and hatch opened with slow hiss releasing cold smoke like frozen breath of dying star. Rakala holding Daniel in arms, body trembling from weight of him and fear inside, stepping onto metal ground of Titan flagship, gravity. Heavy like truth pressing on shoulder, metal floor vibrating from engines humming like giant asleep under feet, and she saw Admiral Holt standing at end of hall, full uniform dark as void between galaxies, face silent, eyes hard but wet with emotion hidden from soldiers, Holt's boots echoing like war drums as she walked forward slowly, not rushing, not running, steps careful like mother walking toward child bleeding on floor, and when she reached them she didn't speak first. She didn't salute. She just put hand on Daniel's chest, feeling last beats under skin like broken rhythm of love fading, whispering, "He is alive. Because of you?" And Rakala fell to knees in front of her, holding Daniel like offering of truth, tears falling to metal floor making little circles like stars falling onto dark world. And Holt reached down, her voice trembling under control like ocean under ice. Stand. You are under Terran protection. No one will touch you. Rakala tried to speak but throat locked from crying. Only sound from her lips small broken council coming. They want to take him? And Holt nodded slow, sadness turning to rage under calm skin. I know. They want to erase truth. Her voice full of years carrying pain Galaxy ignored, years of watching humans painted monsters to justify council power, years of burying soldiers who died alone because help never came, years of truth buried under politics. Then Holt knelt beside Rakala, not above her like superior, beside her like equal, like two women holding one dying man whose existence a war story written in flesh, and she whispered close. They fear you, because you broke their story with your kindness. And Rakala cried harder because she never wanted to be symbol, never wanted to break kingdoms. She just didn't want Mother's death repeated in someone else's son, even if he human. And Holt touched Daniel's forehead with gloved hand gentle like kiss, whispering, get medical, now. Voice suddenly sharp like gun trigger spoken, soldiers moved fast, stretcher sliding under Daniel, medics inserting tubes, scanning wounds with machines humming like quiet storm, and Rakala stood slowly on weak legs shaking like branches in wind, watching Daniel taken deeper inside ship toward medical bay glowing with blue light like frozen sun, and she tried to follow but Holt held her arm lightly, not stopping her, supporting weight like pillar, whispering, stay. You are safe. 3 words calming storm in her blood for moment, but outside ship alarms flashed red, screens along hallway showing council fleet forming battle line like metal teeth closing around dreadnought, voices on comm urgent. Council preparing fire. Rakala's heart froze because she knew they would rather destroy everything than let truth escape. Truth that Council lied for centuries. Truth that humans learned kindness from alien hero. Not hatred, truth that one alien saved world once and paid with life while Council buried legacy under fear. Holt lifted chin. Voice turning into blade cutting through chaos. Broadcast everything. Open all channels. Officer stared, shocked. Admiral, all channels? Even Council. Holt's voice broke into raw truth. Especially Council. Let Galaxy see the truth. No politics now, no hiding pain. She wanted Universe to see alien carrying human through fire while Council screamed war. Wanted Universe to see what real enemy is. Fear and lies, not humans, not aliens, and room lights dimmed as giant circular hologram lit center of hall. Camera focusing on Rakala's shaking face streaked with blood and tears, focusing on empty space in her arms where Daniel was moments ago, focusing on Admiral Holt beside her like shadow of victory. And grief both, broadcast going live across star networks, across council channels, across pirate frequencies, across every relay near war zone. Screens in millions homes suddenly showing alien woman crying in human arms, humans protecting her, council ships aiming weapons at medical transport saving someone. Galaxy freezing in shock because narrative burned, broken, impossible to control now. Whole world seeing kindness more powerful than fear stories. Seeing truth Council hid for generations. Holt stepped forward into camera view. Voice calm but shaking with emotion like thunder hidden under clouds. This is Admiral Reyna Holt of Terra. The alien behind me saved one of our soldiers not for reward, not for politics, but because he called for his mother. We are here because we remember our dead calling for us. This is why humanity fights, not for power, for each other. Words hit Galaxy like comet, breaking walls made from fear, people on distant stations crying, soldiers on border fronts lowering guns, children watching screen asking parents, why she crying? And parents silent because truth deep like wound bleeding history. Holt continued. The Council wanted her dead for kindness. They want our soldier to disappear so truth dies with him. We will not allow that. We will not bury mercy under lies. Tears ran down Rakala's cheeks again, because she never thought someone would speak for her in Hall of Power, especially human admiral feared by stars. Holt turned camera toward med bay doors closing behind Daniel, voice softer like ashes. We once learned kindness from an alien who died saving my grandmother. Council hid this to turn us into monster story. They lied. But we remember. Humanity remembers debt. And today we repay it. Shock spread across comms like virus of truth, council leaders screaming for channels to cut. Engineers trying to shut broadcast but Titan ship running its own network jam they cannot override. Holt faced camera again. Eyes shaking like volcano kept closed. If you fear us, fear our love, because it is stronger than your fear. Then she turned to soldiers, voice sharp, protect her like you protect me. And soldiers moved around Rakala like armor, like shield made from flesh and will. Council fleet suddenly fired first shot, small beam, weak compared to Titan armor, but symbolic like knife thrown from throne scared of truth. Hit shield, nothing happens. Shield eating energy like hunger. Holt looked at blast on screen with sadness, not anger. They chose war again because peace kills their power. And Rakala whispered broken, I didn't want war. Holt answered soft, and that's why you stopped it. Rakala stared confused. Holt leaned closer, voice like teaching child hard truth. Your act is bigger than their firing. Galaxy sees now. Fear is dying. War is exposed. And outside council fleet started to break formation, half ships retreating, captains refusing to fight truth broadcast in front of Galaxy. Others still firing weakly because pride louder than brain. Holt lifted hand, giving order not to fire back, not to crush council now when truth working deeper than bullets. Hold fire. Let their shame do our work. War not always guns. Sometimes war won by letting enemy hurt itself in front of witness. Rakala collapsed against Holt, exhaustion heavy like stones tied to ribs, whispering, will he live? Holt's voice broke softer than before, like girl mourning inside woman. If he lives, Galaxy changes. If he dies, Galaxy changes. But either way, they cannot unsee this. And tears fell from Holt's eyes without shame, because Admiral crying in broadcast means truth raw. No lies, no masks, just humanity hurting for both sides. And at same moment in Med Bay, Daniel's heart stopped for 2 seconds, flat line echoing through corridor like scream from dead star. Doctor's shocking heart, machines beeping like bombs, his hand falling off bed edge limp like broken flag. Rakala screamed, instinctive scream without knowing what. Happening, pain traveling through wall like electric current, and Holt grabbed her shoulders firm like anchor. He is fighting. You gave him reason. Whisper soft but power strong like gravity pulling soul back from void. Doctors yelling, heartbeat slow pulse again. 1 beat, 2 beats, then silent, then weak beat again like newborn rising, and camera still live. Galaxy watching every tiny second of life between death and survival. Silence heavy like cathedral made of stars. Then heartbeat growing stronger slowly like drum starting after long pause, and millions across Galaxy crying relief for soldier they never met. For alien they never knew. For truth they never heard. Council screen blacking out broadcast too late. Story already inside hearts. Impossible to erase. Holt turned off broadcast slow, voice soft enough. And Hall silent except sound of Rakala sobbing in arms of enemy who became protector. 2 worlds holding each other because old lies finally died on battlefield of kindness. Fade out like heartbeat echo across stars. Medical bay lights were white like morning sun melting last darkness after long night. Machines humming steady rhythm like slow heartbeat of universe slowly calming after war scream. Rakala standing beside bed with eyes swollen from crying. Hands folded against her chest like she holding stars inside palms. Watching Daniel's chest rise soft under blanket. Each breath stronger than last. Each breath like promise refusing to die. Admiral Holt standing behind glass window with posture straight but eyes tired from carrying weight of history overnight. Hair messy from hours without blinking. Her uniform jacket undone on collar like war hero showing vulnerability for first time. And outside Med Bay door corridor silent for first time since rescue. Whole flagship holding breath because 1 heartbeat inside room now heartbeat for whole Galaxy. And in distant Space Council fleet half gone. Captains refusing to obey high command after broadcast showed truth bleeding on metal floor. High speakers screaming into broken comms demanding loyalty, threatening punishment, but fear of truth louder than chains of command. Ships turning around quietly like ashamed children walking home after lie exposed. High council chambers across Galaxy shaken like old building hit by storm. Members screaming, resigning, fighting, some breaking down crying because they never knew real history, some demanding investigation, some trying to erase broadcast too late because truth already spreading through million screens, through whispers in bars, through cries of families who lost soldiers in old wars, truth planting seeds of doubt in minds trained by fear. and Rakala saw screens showing council shouting on news channels, public asking questions dangerous to those in power. If aliens saved them first, why did council hide it? Why do we fear humans if they learned from us? What lies cost us peace? And power collapse began not with bombs but with questions. Tiny words like explosion inside marble halls full of pride, and Rakala felt world changing outside while her world inside room small like heartbeat under fingers. Her focus only Daniel's eyelids shaking like dream trying to open door. His lips moving whispers without sound, med scanners showing brain signals rising from dream ocean, and she leaned close, her forehead almost touching his, whispering like mother waking child slowly. Daniel, we are safe, you are home. Voice trembling like violin string touched gently, and his eyes opened tiny first, light hitting pupils like painful memory, then wider, seeing blurry face of alien crying over him, tear falling on his cheek like last drop of storm. He blinked slow, mind traveling through pain to present, whispering soft broken voice like someone speaking from other side of suffering. You saved me? Rakala nodded, tears falling faster because hearing a live voice felt like miracle gifted to soul still bruised from terror. She whispered again, you saved all of us? Daniel confused, weak smile like leaf shaking on wind. I did nothing? His voice soft like apology. Rakala shook head. You trusted me. That changed everything. Before he could answer, door opened slow, Admiral Holt walking inside with steps quiet like prayer walking across battlefield after guns silent, her boots making soft echo on cold floor. She stood beside Daniel's bed, not like commander, like witness of history, like someone seeing reason to forgive universe for a moment. Daniel tried to sit but pain pulled him back. Holt raised hand gently. Rest. You already did more than enough. He looked at her confused, voice weak. What happened? Holt exhaled slowly, words carrying whole galaxy inside lungs. Galaxies saw the truth. Council cracked. Fear broke in front of kindness. Daniel closed eyes like weight of story too heavy to hold in weak bones, whispering, I only wanted to go home. Rakala squeezed his hand, voice wet. You are home, because I refused to leave you alone. Holt nodded, eyes shining from tears she didn't hide. She carried you through war. She carried truth you could not speak. And Daniel looked at Rakala with gratitude deeper than words, deeper than history, deeper than blood, whispering thank you for hearing my mother's name. Rakala sobbed because that name connected two hearts across species, two wounds across worlds, making universe small like room where mercy wins against fear taught by lies, and medical monitors beeped strong steady now, heartbeat rising like dawn rising slowly over dead battlefield. Silence soft and heavy. Then curtain of room opened by Terran soldier holding datapad shaking with emotion. He tried to hide behind military face. Admiral, council transmission. Holt took pad, eyes scanning message, breath deepening. Rakala and Daniel watching fear return in her face. But then she closed eyes, relief shadow crossing features like wind passing over water, whispering, they want negotiation. Rakala gasped small. Daniel shocked enough to gain strength in voice. Council wants peace? Holt nodded slow. They want to rewrite law. The first rule of space will change. And she read aloud Council's message written with shame hidden behind official language. No living being may be abandoned in void. Any species may save another without fear of punishment. Rakala collapsed into chair crying because her mother died for this law missing, Daniel alive because she ignored law that killed her mother. And now law changed because she carried him through war with tears not weapons. Law changed by kindness of cargo pilot. Not armies. Not bombs. Not political meetings. Simple act of compassion rewriting universe's first command. Holt eyes filled with tears like star water, whispering, this is your victory. Not ours. Kala shook head hard, our victory. You fought to protect truth. Holt smiled faint like old wound healing slow. Only because you showed me truth first. Daniel looked at two women, one alien, one human, both crying over him like symbol of peace finally born. And his voice cracked. Then, what now? Holt stood tall, wiping face, voice turning steady like oath carved in stone. Now we remember, and we build world where no one dies alone. Urkala repeated soft like echo of promise, no one dies alone. Daniel whispered same words weak, again. And in that small medical room galaxy got new oath. New law written not in books but in hearts of two species who bled together. Common grief turned into common promise. Outside window stars glowing like eyes watching new story begin after long nightmare of lies. Council power trembling like old tower cracking in wind of truth. People in millions planets speaking new prayer born from. Broadcast, we remember kindness. And Rakala held Daniel's hand like anchor tying two worlds. Holt placing her palm over both. Sealing promise like ancient ritual, three hands different shapes but same warmth. Creating new liturgy of fear turned into liturgy of hope. War engine shutting down across Terran fleet. Guns cold again not from surrender but from peace earned. And Rakala whispered one last line like closing chapter written in heart language. Galaxy changed because one soldier whispered for his mother, and one stranger listened. Fade out like dawn erasing night, slow and gentle, ending story not with explosion, but with breath of peace. Weeks passed slower than gravity dragging light. Every hour heavy with healing. Every second carrying weight of history written in blood and kindness. Medical bay calm now like room after storm where broken branches lie outside but inside quiet returns like shy child entering home again. Daniel relearning how to breathe without pain. Ribs healing under advanced Terran treatment while Rakala visited daily. Sitting beside bed with small bowl of fruit she never tried before. Learning names of things from his whisper weak voice like teacher teaching language of two worlds mixing into new alphabet. Sometimes they sat without talking. Silence soft like blanket not wall. Silence full of trust not fear. And Admiral Holt came often too. Not as admiral, as listener. Sitting across chair watching two survivors form friendship hidden by scars but brighter than stars outside window. While galaxy outside Titan flagship shook like ancient temple collapsing under truth. Council chambers now battlefield of debates not guns. Old leaders resigning under pressure. Young ones raising voices repeating what broadcast showed. Saving life is not crime. Protests on planets where children marched with small flags. Showing symbol of hand holding star. Symbol taken from broadcast where Rakala held Daniel bleeding. Symbol of compassion simple enough to erase centuries of fear. Mothers crying on screens telling stories of sons who died alone in void because law made kindness illegal. Anger turning into movement. Movement turning into law change. Law change turning into political earthquake shaking corruption from roots. Some council members facing trials for hiding truth about alien hero who saved humans. Long ago, files once marked secret now open on every terminal. Names of fallen alien written in history again after being erased like unwanted poem. Rakala read names slowly like prayer for stranger who started everything. Tears in eyes because she realized entire war machine humans built from grief started from love that galaxy buried. Love reborn in her arms when she held human whispering for mother. And she wondered if mother who died alone in old mining accident would be proud that daughter refused to abandon someone same way. Thought made her cry smiling, pain mixed with pride like sharp sweet taste in soul. Daniel watched her from bed, voice now stronger, smile gentle like dawn washing away last darkness. She would be proud, he whispered, and Rakala asked without hiding tears, how do you know? Daniel touched her hand with fingers warm and alive. Because she lives in you, and you saved me. Words simple yet heavy like whole universe held in one breath. She squeezed his hand back, feeling power in small touch stronger than any war engine built under moon. Feeling truth that love between strangers can override history taught by fear. Footsteps echoed outside room as Holt approached again with datapad full of new messages from council. Face serious but softer than first day. She stood next to bed, voice steady. They want formal peace ceremony. They want to sign oath in front of entire galaxy. Daniel raised eyebrow. Weak grin, council suddenly wants peace? Holt's answer bitter smile of someone seeing enemy change mask because mask cracked. They want to survive. Peace is only choice now. Rakala looked confused. Do they understand kindness now? Holt stared at window showing stars slowly turning like slow dance of endless night. They understand fear of being exposed. That is enough for first step. Not perfect answer, but honest, and sometimes honesty sharper than hope. Holt handed datapad to Rakala, showing draft of new interstellar law, lines simple and clean like child writing new promise. Any being who saves life in void belongs to no enemy. Rescue is neutral act. No law shall punish mercy. Urkala read again and again like dream repeating so it doesn't disappear. Tears falling onto screen, reflecting letters into small drops, and Daniel whispered, "Your mother's death gave you courage to break law. Your courage changed law." Urkala whispered, voice trembling, "Your whisper changed history?" And Daniel looked at ceiling, eyes far like seeing memory carved into stars. "I didn't whisper for history. I whispered for Mom." Both fell silent, heavy silence of grief that creates good. Holt watched two souls closing old wounds together without ceremony or title. She understood politics can only create paper peace. But these two created real peace with pain shared. She cleared throat slow. Council demanded to meet the pilot who saved our soldier and the soldier she saved. Urkala eyes widened, fear returning slight. Why? Holt smiled soft. Because Galaxy wants to see symbol, not speech. And Daniel sat up little, pain flaring but pride in smile. "We will go. Together." 3 words, new anthem, echoing deeper than any victory slogan. Urkala nodded slow. Fear still heavy but not blocking path. Holt nodded also. "You won't go alone. Terran fleet will escort you. Entire worlds will watch. Truth will walk with you." Then her voice lowered like secret told gently, "I will stand behind you both, not as admiral, as witness." Ceremony day came like sunrise pushing night away, giant hall of council filled with leaders from 100 species, tension thick like humidity before storm. But storm never came because broadcast already broke clouds. Banners raised not of victory but of apology disguised as diplomacy. Room floor polished so clean it reflected nervous faces. Thousands watching. Live, outside million screens in homes, bars, ships, children sitting quiet for first time. All eyes on entrance, moment heavy. Then door opened slow and 2 figures walked forward under white light. Urkala wearing simple pilot uniform with patch given by Terrans showing star in open hand. Daniel walking beside her slow but steady medical patch under suit glowing small. Cane in hand but head up, every step echoing like heartbeat across room. Holt walking 1 step behind them like shadow of promise, entire hall silent. No whispers, no insults, just watching history walk through door without guns, without armor. Just truth and wounds and hands touching sometimes for support. Council high speaker stood in center looking shaken like man forced to face truth older than his power. He tried to speak loud but voice cracked. "On behalf of Council." But words stuck like lie choking throat. He stopped, breathing heavy under lights, then looked at Urkala with eyes of someone seeing small person carry big universe. Voice lowered. "Thank you." No politics, no pride, just 2 words purified by shame and truth. Hall murmured shock because apology from Council rare as star falling into water. Daniel stepped forward, speaking not long speech. No anger, no revenge, just story like seed. "I called for my mother. She heard me, even though she is gone." People froze, breath caught. Some eyes wet instantly because pain in those words burned bigger than armies. He continued, "I woke and found stranger saving me. Not human, not soldier. Just someone who refused to let me die." Urkala eyes filled again. Daniel turned to Galaxy through cameras. "Fear made us enemies. Mercy made us family." Silence deep like gravity pulling tears from eyes and entire hall. Holt looking down hiding tears with stiff jaw because Admiral crying on camera okay here. But she's still soldier shaped by war. Then Urkala stepped forward tiny voice but sharp like arrow of truth. "I broke law to save life. If law kills kindness, law is wrong, not kindness." Room trembled with weight of sentence because truth said in simple words hits harder than big speech. Council leaders lowered heads, some crying, some ashamed, some relieved someone finally said what they were afraid to say. High speaker looked at people, voice shaking like old man learning to walk again. "Then we change law." He lifted tablet, signing oath with shaking hand, passing to Daniel, then to Urkala, both signing not as symbol but as survivors. Then Holt signed last, sealing promise with hand that carried history of war, signing with pain and pride mixed, each signature like nail closing coffin of old lies. Hall erupted not applause like theater, but quiet soft clapping like prayer, like respect, like mourning for all who died before this truth born. Later ceremony over, crowds left, stars outside hall shining quiet. Rakala and Daniel stood alone on balcony overlooking space. Galaxy wide open like unknown road. Daniel. Breathing cold air, smiling weak. So, what now? Rakala laughed soft through tears. Now. We learn how to be friends without fear. Daniel nodded. Leaning on railing, hard work? Rakala smiled, good work. Holt joined them, standing between like bridge, voice low, peace starts with two people. Now Galaxy has two. They stood together silently, three figures looking into stars like children looking into ocean. Fear gone for moment. Pain still there but now shared. Not lonely, silence warm like blanket not cage. Memory of mother and mother and mother echoing in air. Instinct deeper than species, deeper than politics, ending where everything began. One dying whisper in cold darkness answered by stranger, small echo turning into storm that washed away centuries of fear. New era born not by sword, not by threats, but by one voice saying, I will not leave you alone. Fade out like stars blinking through tears of whole galaxy beginning to heal.